Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by my fantastic co-host, Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you?
Singing co-host, Bree Tucker. Hire us for your holiday parties.
I know, right? Love to see those sweet dance moves back from the 70s. I got that the whole John Travolta Saturday Night Fever thing going.
Yeah.
I got that down really good.
Yeah, we should really like put ourselves out there for holiday parties. Be like,
we should.
We could bring our mics, but we have multi-talents. We're better than just talking in a mic. Like,
well, they have to let us do our
karaoke.
rendition. Oh, well, karaoke, yes. Oh, Bree and the girls.
Bree and the girls.
Bree and the girls. But I would also love to have us be allowed to do our rendition of the NPR. Oh, these are delicious. The sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls. Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it.
I know, right? Because you just come straight to like,
yeah.
Whatever. Sorry, guys.
We have an episode for you today. We hope that you laugh as hard as we did while we were interviewing Betsy Stover. She is the host of the podcast, Why Mommy Drinks. She's a comedian and a mom that helps other parents feel less alone by showing them that all of us are a hot mess and reminding them that they're doing a great job. And I
100% got that. Yeah, I 100% got that from Betsy. My abs were killing me after that interview because I was laughing so hard.
It was a laugh riot. We hope you enjoy, and it brings a smile to your face today. Food is always on my mind, and I think like the biggest question that like really bothers me is when my kids are like, what are we making for dinner tonight? Like, do you ever get that? Like, what are we going to make for dinner this week? What should we do? Like, and you have no ideas.
Oh, yeah. And then you're like, oh, crap. We only have you're asking me this question and I have about 30 minutes till everybody starts getting hangry. Mm-hmm. And I've got to get this figured out like right now.
But our Cozy app like helps us out with this. They have recipes already in there.
I know. I found this the other day and I was so shocked. Like when you go into the recipe section, there's Cozy Picks at the very top. Mm-hmm. Click on that little button and it has so many awesome ideas. Like back when it was closer to Thanksgiving, they had recipes for ideas for Thanksgiving leftovers, which was great. Mm-hmm. And then they also have this month they have the December ones.
And they're like really good looking recipes. Like I was just scrolling through it too and I saw this recipe for burrito pie and just the idea, I'm like, yes, please get in my stomach.
You know what else? Cozy, I hope you're listening. You need to add pumpkin enchiladas. But that is a good seasonal one too to add in.
It is. But the cool thing about Cozy is that it also has a shared grocery list that lets the whole family add items in real time. So you'll never find yourself at the store without the list. It's always on your phone and up to date. And if you need help figuring out dinners like we do, there's a place to store your own recipes and pick recipes from Cozy and plan meals ahead of time.
I know. Cozy has made my life so much easier. I'm like, where have you been my whole life, Cozy? Where have you been?
Yeah, and the best part is it is free. Just download Cozy Family Organizer from the App Store. That's COZI to get the free app today. We have some things planned for No Guilt Mom for 2022. In fact, let it be the first announcement that we have.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mark your calendars for February 28th because we're going to host our first ever Happy Mom Summit.
We are so excited. I am so excited. But I got to tell you, dude, it's a lot. We have so much stuff planned. It's going to be insane, people.
We're right now getting the speakers on board, getting everything organized for you. And it's not going to be like a typical summit where there's like all this information. We have structured it in a way to help you yell less and have more patience. So at the end of the week, you are going to have such an amazing transformation. We cannot wait. But To know about it, you need to be on the No Guilt Mom email list. And to do that, go download our Happy Parent Checklist. It's at noguiltmom.com/HPC. We'll put a link in the show notes. And now, on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom Podcast.
Betsy, hello!
How are you?
How are you?
Good. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you here. I was so excited to meet you. I'm so excited that we know someone in common of Ben Simon, the wonderful Ben.
Yes, he is fantastic.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. He is the strongest Twitter game.
Does he? Yeah. He used to do it on Facebook and then he's hilarious. I was going to ask you, where in LA are you?
I'm in Koreatown.
Okay.
So I'm in like central LA. Where are you all?
Well, we're in Phoenix, but I used to live in LA. So I'm always like, where in
Oh.
LA?
It's very urban where I am, but we're in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Because in Phoenix, I don't know if you've been out here, like everything is so spread out. And we
Mhm.
actually live in a suburb of Phoenix. So we're in the East Valley. So the point is that it's kind of hard to live somewhere where you can walk places. And then I just went to San Diego this weekend and I was like, I've never stayed somewhere where I could walk places. It was amazing.
Oh,
Loved it.
I lived in New York City for 16 years, and that was really nice. Like wherever you were, pretty much, you could walk home any time of night or day.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
nice.
Like,
Would
what
you
was,
back?
what was your
Yeah.
apartment like in New York City? That's what I want to
Great
know.
question. So, well, we had an apartment in Manhattan, and then later we lived in a little townhouse in Brooklyn. So our apartment in Manhattan was, let's see, it was only a second floor walk up. It was one bedroom, but the bedroom didn't have a door. So it was essentially a glorified studio apartment. And there were times where we lived there and we were the only ones who weren't dealing drugs.
Oh, you're like, great. Yeah.
Like, great. Okay, so downstairs, that's a Coke front. Okay.
Oh, no.
Upstairs, they are actively selling weed, like it is a weed distribution point.
Oh, that is wild.
Yeah, it was wild. Our landlord was like a low rent, like drug dealing kingpin, like real low rents. It was colorful and flavorful.
So why did you move to New York?
Oh, right. So I moved to New York for college. I
Okay.
went there to go to NYU to study theater. So there
Oh,
you go.
awesome. Well, how old is your oldest?
My oldest is 12. So
12,
I'm,
so-
oh no,
so
oh my
you're-
God. Why did I just lie to you? My oldest is 11.
11. So you're kind of getting there,
Yeah.
but your oldest is a boy, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if it's the same way. I have a girl who is a teenager and you have a boy. And
Yeah, I
a
was
teenager.
14.
But like my daughter will come home and be like, oh my gosh, mom, they were looking at me weird because my shirt was too short. And I have the attitude be like, who cares what they think? Just forget them. But that's totally
You don't
not.
get it, Mom.
Yeah.
So how many kids do each of you have and what are their ages?
We both have two.
Mhm.
You both have two.
So like my oldest is 14 and he'll be 15 here shortly. And then my youngest is 13 and
Mhm.
my 13-year-old and her oldest are best friends. That's how we
met in kindergarten
Yeah.
art masterpiece classes.
Yeah.
We were the teachers.
We volunteered to teach art
Yes.
when they were in kindergarten.
8 years ago.
You are true mom friends.
Yes.
We are.
That's so nice.
Yes.
Wait, and then okay, so you have a 13-year-old who's a girl?
Yes, I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son.
Mhm. And I have a almost 13-year-old. She's turning 13 next month, and a 8-year-old son.
Wow. All right. And then I have 3 boys who are 5, 9, and 11. The teen, you're like, yay, you're independent. You're more independent. I mean, they're not independent, but then it's like a whole other sort of fresh hell. Like it's a new kind of, now it's emotions and attitude and
so many
sass.
emotions.
I think the funny,
There's
it's
so
funny
many.
because people think that boys don't go through that, but they
do.
My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org. We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Brie, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
Oh my
They
gosh,
do.
my son has so many emotions at 8. Like my daughter did not have the emotions my son does, but then they're totally different. And it's like, I also see him reflected, but like me reflected in him. Like, do you ever see that in your kids? You see your own personality like shoved back in your face and you're like,
Oh, but
Yes.
I have the attitude enough to tell my kids, to tell my daughter who's just like me, that there was only room for one of us and I came first. I'll be like, listen, Missy, there's only room for one of us and I came first. So you need to tone it down. To which she'll just answer back that she does it better. So I just need to tone it down.
that's funny.
She's that much like me.
Yes.
So
It's very rare I find that the good parts of me that I like, that I want to see are reflected back. It's usually the parts that I'm like, oh no, I do say and do that. And it's so mortifying that
it
it's
is.
mortifying. Yes.
I think we tend to see the parts of ourselves that are negative faster than we see the parts of ourselves that are positive. Like the positive things are there. We just tend to be like, oh, that's normal. And then it's like, no, that's me. But it's all in parenting. So you were in
my youngest is I see the good of me reflected back, but yeah, it's
He's still young and sweet. Give him time.
and he's still young and sweet like me.
like, yeah, we're still all young and sweet, Betsy. It's true. It's true. So you were in New York for 16 years. And is that where you got into comedy?
Actually, I started comedy in high school. I started doing improv comedy in high school, and I enjoyed it. And so I did like a summer camp where they did improv, and the person running it invited me to be a part of this troupe that she was forming. So I was like a teenager, and I was in this comedy troupe with these adults, and then I kept doing that, and I did comedy sports, and so that was kind of my high school job, was to do do improv comedy. So when it was time to go to college, I was like, well, I either want to go to Chicago or I want to go to New York City. And so I ended up getting into NYU. And so I went to New York City and hooked up with the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater or the UCB. And I've been teaching and performing there for over 20 years. And that's where I met my husband.
That is fun to okay. So I love the UCB because when I used to live in LA, I had friends who took classes there, as well as I went to go see a show there. And the show that I saw there, Amy Poehler was performing. And then it was when they were together, Will Arnett was actually in the audience. And I'm like, this is so like a Hollywood experience. How cool is that? And it was the most hilarious show also I've ever seen.
I just get to sit here and smile as you guys talk. I've never been to any, I've heard of all these things, but they're like so glistery and amazing for me.
The interesting thing, the most fascinating thing about the UCB theater when I was there is that it was right down the street from like the Scientology building. And I remember looking at the Scientology building, which is just, it's like crazy big. And just, I was
there's like there's like armed guards.
There's armed guards. Like it's insane.
Yeah. It's super creepy.
Okay. I thought for sure you were going to say like, and then just down the street was the Scientology. And then I ran into Tom Cruise.
No, it's like, it's
I was expecting to hear next.
But like the building, it's like a huge mansion like structure. Like it's like castle like.
Because they have money.
Yeah. They're actually right across the street from it. So you stand outside the theater. You're like, you look across the street and you're like, oh, look at that. Anytime you park near the UCB on Franklin, there's like an armed guard who's just kind of watching you. It's super
I'm super fascinated by like all of that.
Okay, so, next time we go to LA, you're taking me to this.
Whatever you do not go get a stress test.
Do not. Don't believe it.
I remember
just a stress test.
Being in LA with like all the Scientology, there was like, I don't know if it's still like this. I haven't lived there for like 15 years, but there was like all these booths out for dialectics or stress tests. Like everywhere was Scientology.
I would totally have fallen for that.
Yeah.
I would totally been like, oh, a stress test. Let's go see.
Oh no, I'm stressed.
Oh no. I had no idea.
If only there was a cult I could give my money to that could solve my stress.
Everything. So you've been in comedy for a long time, and then you have this podcast called Why Mommy Drinks. And how long have you been doing the podcast?
I have been doing the podcast for 5 years. 5 years. And I started out with my friend, Amanda Allen. And when the pandemic hit and she was, distance learning 3 kids while she had a super high powered like corporate job, she had to dip out. So maybe she'll come back one day, maybe she won't. But in the meantime, I'm carrying the show. And Why Mommy Drinks. Each episode, we all share a story of a time our kids drove us to drink, essentially.
Okay.
We all, literally or figuratively. Obviously, I'm an adult. I'm in charge of myself. My children don't make me drink. But, we all have those moments where our parenthood will render you just into a useless, quivering puddle on the floor or like a husk of your former self.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for everyone to tell a story. And it's a nice reminder that no one knows what they're doing. We're all a mess, and that's okay. We're all a mess. Some of us are just better at hiding it, and let's just have a big laugh at what a mess it is, and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, and I think like sharing those stories too are so important because a lot of people look very put together. If you just look at their Instagrams,
I know,
and they need to know these like moments of huge colossal failure, and when we felt like those huge colossal failures, it unites.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this whole situation reminds me of your one Instagram photo of when your son was a toddler. He was having a bad day, so she decided to pour herself a glass of red wine to relax. He had other plans for the red wine, poured it over his head, and then started playing with the oven.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm
I have
like,
a picture.
that is a Why Mommy Drinks moment.
100%. 100%.
I show him that picture now and I'm like, look what you did. He's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, you were trouble.
You're like, ah, ha, ha. I couldn't laugh at the moment. Well, I could actually in the moment while I was drinking my next second glass of wine.
I was able to laugh in the moment and be like totally cognizant. I'm like, I'm going to find this funny one day. I'm taking a picture.
Exactly. That's what the whole show is. Yeah, my former co-host Amanda Ellen, she had a story of she got her kids milkshakes, and at some point she looked back and one of her kids had poured the milkshake over her own head.
You're like, why?
What?
Why did
Yeah.
you do that?
Why?
Why'd you do
Kids
that?
are so-
I don't know.
Kids are crazy. Yeah, they don't know.
Crazy.
Kids are insane. So yeah,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Well, we've like gone away from the focus of this podcast because I'm having such a good time talking with you, Betsy, that I'm like,
But it kind of goes
it's
with
so
it.
much fun.
It kind of goes with it. Like the
But-
crap that we go through.
Oh
our
yeah,
parents
it's crap.
probably
We go
went
through so
through.
much crap. Yeah, definitely as parents. But I think it's also this whole idea that you bring this fun to parenthood and this non-stress where looking at, sure, we have these moments where our kids pour glasses of wine over our head,
Or milkshakes.
but it's like also how we react to those moments. Like, do you feel like the way you were brought up, was your mom and dad, did they kind of see parenting the same way you did, or is it different?
No.
You said your dad was a minister, so already I'm
my
guessing
dad-
no.
Yeah, my dad's a minister. My parents are divorced, so I was mostly raised by my mom. But she was a single mom. She was under a lot of stress, as most moms and definitely single moms are. So I do find myself parenting often in spite of the way I was brought up. I call it parenting in the dark. I'm just sort of echolocating how to parent a lot of the times because I know what I don't want to do, and it's a lot of what my parents did. So, and obviously there were lots of things that they did that were great, and that I do absolutely incorporate. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I tend to take as a lesson of how not to do.
Yeah. Like I remember like when I was growing up, my parents subscribed to the grounding method, where it's like, you do something and you're grounded for a week, except
Right.
that they never remembered that I was grounded for a week. And it'd be like, you're grounded for a week, no ice cream. And then like 2 days later, we want some ice cream. Let's go get some ice cream. And like, there was nothing like that.
Same. Yeah. It was incredibly inconsistent when I was growing up. Just like, this will get you in trouble one day. This will be praised another day. I will ground you 2 days later. I won't remember it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I see that in like my own parenting sometimes where I don't even, when I became a parent, I was like, I can't give consequences. Like personally, I can't give consequences. I cannot follow up on those things. I need to find a different way to parent my kids rather than like having these consequences in place that, first of all, research shows does not work, by the way. So like
What?
Consequences, they don't work. Well, punishment consequences.
Your face right there was perfect. Crap. Really?
Just do that. It's all good. It's all good.
Seriously? Yeah.
Yeah. But I
man.
mean, they don't work long term. It was like a lot with what we experienced, the inconsistency.
Well, because
And,
I gotta say, like the most successful people you've met as adults tell you how they were ruled by a strict parent growing up. No, nobody else. No.
That's
Right.
interesting.
If you think about it, like a lot of the people that you probably interact with as an adult that are put together, communicative, reliable, more than likely were not constantly punished as a child.
Well, I want to say, like, I don't know. I think it would depend on case by case basis because many people become that way in spite of the way they were brought up. Like, it's almost like in direct opposition. They're
you
like,
mean
I
how-
am not
yeah.
I'm not gonna act that way. I'm gonna go in the opposite direction with
Yeah.
how I live my life versus how my
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM.
Hey, all, Bree here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
It's also how you define what success or put together is.
True.
So many people are successful. They have beautiful homes and beautiful lives, but they might be incredibly empty and sad and unhappy. Whereas I know lots of people who aren't technically successful, but are emotionally very evolved people who are, you know, when it comes to interpersonal relationships, very successful. So I don't know.
Well, there
you
is
know what we're doing. I don't know. Man.
I don't know. I liked your statement about like how we're like parenting in the dark, echolocating, because like that sounds about right.
It is. Well, it's so funny because a lot of parenting has been put on like the childbirth process and the baby process. And like all of these parents like take the baby class and take the pregnancy class. But after that, people are like, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And there's no direction really. So it is kind of like echolocating unless you as a parent go seek it out and figure it out. And there's so much out there and it gets confusing. And I mean,
Well, and also just every kid is different. That's the thing that I've always struggled with when it comes to those books and stuff, is that what works for this one person might not work for you, might not work for me. And I know for me, my oldest kid is super extra.
yeah.
He's always been extra. He's super smart. And he's a whole other ball of wax. And I feel like anytime I read parenting books, I'm like, well, that doesn't work on him. It would maybe work on my other two, but he's
because all kids are totally different.
Well, and then you add in the factor too. This is my favorite little parenting snafu that gets tossed in there. So this parenting technique or these strategies has worked great for my kid for the last 2 years. Now all of a sudden it ain't doing diddly squat. What? You've totally changed.
Kids change. My dog is right now whining. That's why
right
we're like
there.
Sorry.
Right there, that's the root of my pod. That's essentially what my podcast is. Because at the end of the day, it's like, well, you know what? Let's just put our heads down. Let's try to do our best. A lot of times when you trust yourself, I think it's hard for parents these days. We're not taught to trust ourselves. Even when we're pregnant, we're not taught to trust ourselves, right? Don't eat sushi. Don't ever have a glass of wine.
Don't sleep on your side.
Be trusted. What? Don't sleep
on your side.
On your back.
On your back.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're taught not to trust your own sense of what is like right or wrong or anything that makes sense, common sense. So you're thrust into parenthood being like, what am I doing? Someone tell me what to do. And yeah.
And all we want to do is keep our kids from ending up living in a van down by the river.
Unless
it's a pretty van.
Unless
it's like an RV that I can come live with them too.
Look, I have been looking at RVs. Some of these vans are $80,000.
If my kid gets an $80,000 van, I will let it go and
they
be like,
live
okay.
that nomadic lifestyle, traveling the country. It might not be so bad living in a van down by the river.
Exactly. What are they called? Internet nomads?
Internet nomads.
Yeah. Great. Go live in Bali and be an influencer.
Man, that does sound like the
guess.
life.
As long as it takes care of me, that's all that matters. Raising my kid to take care of me in the long run.
Right on.
They'll put you in a
Right
nice
on.
home.
No, I don't want to be in a nice home unless it's like a home on the beach, my own Malibu house.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking.
That's the first thing that I thought of when you're like, take care of you. I'm like,
You're like, they'll find the nicest assisted living for you ever, Bree.
you guys can have art activities. I'll go join you.
I would actually enjoy that.
We would take over that retirement facility. It would be a blast.
You'd be the homecoming queen of that
Oh,
retirement.
and I would be the one that
facility.
would be sneaking in the vodka. The Costco size vodka.
Be under your bed.
Yes. It's water. What are you talking about? It's
drink in
water.
those places. I mean,
I would think you would, unless you're like medically supervised. Like you would think so, right? Like Betsy, it's
It
been
will be.
phenomenal talking with you, and like
it's been a blast.
it's gone by so fast too. What?
I feel like I get everyone off track, and I totally got us off
It
track.
is
And
just
I
gonna be
apologize.
fun.
Listen, the highlights of this conversation, we got to talk about cults. We got to talk about drinking.
Yeah.
We got to talk about
It's so much
it's a
fun.
good conversation and about how none of us know what we're doing in parenting, but
Yeah.
we're trying our best.
That's a
That's
great
all that
summary of our podcast episode.
It's always such a relief to talk to other people who are like, "Yep, I don't know what I'm doing either," and it's okay. Like,
we're all
yeah,
just figuring out as we go along, and sometimes
We're all
there's tools that we
echolocating.
could use, but we're all just figuring it out. Before you leave us, what is one thing that you are looking forward to going on right now in your life?
ooh, so we are not big vacation people, and but I got an Airbnb for a few days in our winter break coming up here. We're gonna go up to the mountains, and I am crossing my fingers for snow. After being inside for 20 months, I am so excited to go up to the mountains and stay in a little cabin with my family, and hopefully there'll be snow. So that is what I am absolutely looking forward to. I've been plotting my escape for months.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So
So you're totally looking forward to the cabin. I wonder what the drive up's going to be with three. What, do you have a big enough car? Because like with 3 kids and all the luggage, it's going to be like, I have to
girl.
pee. He touched me. He breathed on me.
Oh,
But once you get there,
100%.
you have your hot toddy and you have the snow and life is good.
Before the pandemic, we had a minivan and a tiny Prius. But then the pandemic hit, and we were like, why are we paying these monthly payments for this big car that we don't ever go anywhere in? So now we have the tiny Prius, and all 3 kids are jammed in the back, and they hate it. But we have gone on camping trips. We've made it work. That is my thing. I make it work.
Well, you
Yes,
know what?
make it work.
It's building life skills.
it is.
They are learning
You're right.
resilience.
It is.
Yes.
And if they ever want to become clowns, they have got so much
Clown
talent
car.
for hopping into a
You
small
got
car.
it.
Yeah, right
You
there.
know, both of their parents are comedians, so it's very likely that this is a good life skill.
That's what you tell them next time. Okay, before you get in the car, though, I bought you guys some stuff. Like,
Yeah.
here's your wig. Here's
Yeah.
your. What are you doing to us, Mom? I'm just trying to get you ready for future
Life
career
skills,
opportunities.
future
Come
life
on.
skills, exactly. Get used to
Oh my
wearing the
gosh, I
wig.
never thought of it. It is a clown car. My car is a clown car in more ways than one.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Betsy. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.
So, Brie, after talking with Betsy, I'm really thinking like those mom retreats.
Yes.
I think that needs to happen.
I think we need to put our hat into the ring. That needs to be our next big project after our summit.
Well, it's funny because I'm a huge fan of the show Top Chef on Bravo.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one season, one of their episodes was they were all bussed up to a camp, a summer camp, and they cooked for a mom retreat. And I'm like, first of all, how can I get on this mom retreat? Second of all, how can I get the contestants of Top Chef to cook for me and try all their food? Because this seems like a really good idea.
I agree. I'm with that. Okay. You know what? We got to get off this because I got to start researching it right now.
Researching it right now. So we hope that you enjoyed Betsy. She's hilarious. Go listen to her podcast, Why Mommy Drinks. And until next time, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you. And we'll see you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday who is pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.